Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Healthier and More Sustainable Diets learning series. This is the third session in the series, and today we're focusing on empowering consumer choice. So I'm Sharon Bly, and I lead the Healthier Lives Coalition here at the Consumer Goods Forum, and I'm thrilled to welcome you to today's session. So we're going to have a great presentation today that I promise you, and we would love it to be as interactive as possible. So don't hesitate to ask questions as you're listening to the presentation, anything that's coming to mind. We will have ample time at the end of the presentation to get to your questions. Just click on the Q&A function in your toolbar. You should see it there at the bottom of your screen, or in the chat. We will make sure to get to your question. If it's something you want to in more detail, or you want to connect with Ariane afterwards, you can contact me here on the email hw@theconsumergoodsforum.com. So please do take this time today and use this possibility to get lots of insights from the great presenter that we have with us today. So just wanted to set a 2-minute context before we dive into today's topic. Healthier and More Sustainable Diets is a work stream that we created in the Collaboration for Healthier Lives Coalition of Action. And we saw this kind of critical evolution, you could say, or movement in a number of the markets where we have local projects towards driving healthier and more sustainable diets. And a core team of our members came together and said, well, what does that mean for us as members of the Consumer Goods Forum? And you can see here on your screen three points that we agreed. And of course, to work from existing definitions and understanding of what that means from FAO and WHO. Obviously supporting balanced and diverse food consumption, ensuring appropriate nutrient and calorie intake, has lower environmental pressure and impact, and of course is accessible, affordable and equitable to all, and I should also say delicious to all as well. So this is the common understanding that we have. And the second area of understanding, which is still very much, I would say, work in progress with the members of the CGF, are the territories that we want to support, the theme areas where we want to deep dive, looking at, of course, more plants on the plate, empowering consumer choice, and including in that the role of labeling, better for you, dairy and meat, right sizing consumption, whether it's over or under consumption of certain nutrients, and health and food waste. And those are the 5 areas that the group agreed to zoom in on, and we're working on a continuing basis to see what we can do individually as companies of the Consumer Goods Forum, but also collectively as a coalition of action. We also, of course, this, as I mentioned, this is the third in the series. So on our website, you can find the first 2 sessions. The first one was around environmental labeling, and our second session was on regenerative agriculture. And these sessions, the recordings are available on our website, and today's session will also be recorded and available in the same spot. So please don't hesitate to share with your colleagues who couldn't join us live today. And just after this session, the next one is coming up in June, where we will be combining work that we have done on health and food waste, with a particular focus on some of the great initiatives that we have on the ground in Latin America. So everything is available on our website, and for those of you who are listening to this recording, not today, but in the future, we hope you enjoy today's session. So with that, I'm thrilled to introduce you to today's speaker, Ariane de Jong, who's the lead health and flavor from the Albert Heijn team in the Netherlands. So Ariane, thrilled to have you with us today, and a big thank you for sharing all of your insights. And Ahold Delhaize, of course, Frans Muller is the global sponsor of our Collaboration for Healthier Lives Coalition of Action. So always great to have all of the insights from the team at Ahold Delhaize. So Ariane, I will just take off my slides and hand it over to you.
Thank you very much, Sharon. Thanks for inviting me. I'm as thrilled as you to be here today and present some of our insights. So we'll start sharing my screen. Before I start going into the presentation, I would like to introduce myself. As Sharon said, I'm lead of the health and flavor team within Albert Heijn, one of the brands of Ahold Delhaize. I've joined Albert Heijn over 2 years ago and am a scientific nutritionist by training, and have worked in the health and nutrition field for quite some years in different organizations and companies, being it in the more academic environment in university, but also in more company environment with Unilever, and also in the public health environment with the Public Health Institute in the Netherlands. But I've never been as close to the customer's plate as I am here in Albert Heijn. So it's a really great place to be, and it's a challenging job every day. And I'm happy not to do that all by myself. I have a wonderful full team who's every day busy with making that plate that we feel a little bit more healthy, but keeping taste as important for our customers. So I'm really thrilled to take you into some of the work that we have been doing. A little bit more about Ahold Delhaize as a company. So Albert Heijn is one of the brands in Europe, in the Netherlands. We have Delhaize in Belgium, Albert in Czech Republic, for example, and a few more brands in Europe. We have Super Indo in Indonesia, in Asia, and we also have quite some brands in the United States. We have an overall health and sustainability strategy, but all the brands stick to that strategy, but also have the opportunity to fill in their own ideas about health and sustainability. And I will love to take you through that. But before I do that, some facts about Albert Heijn, which was established in 1887, so already more than 100 years ago. And we have quite some stores, more than 1,000, most of them in the Netherlands, but also some in Belgium. I think it's about somewhere between 60 and 70 stores in Belgium right now. The Allerhande is our magazine that inspires our customers with recipes. This is one of the recent magazines that we launched. It says a bit more healthy, step by step, and it's one of the best read magazines in the Netherlands. We have more than 100,000 associates, so everything that we do in the area of health and sustainability is not only for our customers, but surely also for our associates. We have a market share of 35.9, so we're the biggest retailer in the Netherlands. And our app that that has a lot of features has 3 million app users, and I will come back later to the app to show you how we use it in the area of health. Well, as you all know, our world has changed, and with that, our customers have changed. I just read a recent report from Deloitte called The Conscious Consumer, and 64% of the respondents from 15 countries in Europe said that they become more interested in learning about the influence of food on their health. And that is also something that we see at Albert Heijn. If we see what customers are looking for when they're visiting our website, you see that they are looking for healthy cooking, healthy recipes, healthy products. So it's really, it made a big step up in the past 2 years. In this report, consumers even indicated that 60% of them choose health over affordability. So that is really a change in the consumer's mind. COVID-19 has changed a lot in society. It's brought not only physical challenges, but also mental challenges. How people cook, eat, do groceries, how they work, everything changed. And also recent developments in Europe with the war in the Ukraine changed this even more, and also brings affordability of healthy food more to top of mind of our consumers. So really in the past 2 years, a lot has changed. And this is one of the reasons that Albert Heijn recently launched a new mission that says, together we make better eating the easy choice for everyone. And with better eating, we mean healthy, more delicious, more sustainable eating, which is a lot, and it's difficult to do that all at the same time. So we see better eating in 3 pillars. Better eating is living better. Something that I will come back to, because this is the pillar talking about health. Better eating connects. If you eat together, if you cook together, you start conversations and you connect better together. So that's also an important part of the strategy. In a lot of national dietary guidelines, the connection is also incorporated into the guidelines. For example, in Chile and in Japan, it's not only talking about healthy eating or sustainable eating, it's also talking about enjoy your food, enjoy it together with your friends and family. So it's really an important part also of our mission. And in third place, better eating is leaving the world a better place. This is not only sustainability of the food products that we sell, but also the transport that we use to bring foods from the distribution center to the client or to the shops. It's about cooling systems in our shops. It's about solar panels on the roofs of our buildings. It's really a huge effort to also address sustainability. Well, now I'm talking to this audience. I just can't not tell you about some recent sustainability highlights that we have just reached. So we were the most sustainable retailer, as was judged by our customers in the Sustainable Brand Index. It's the 6th time in a row that we got this certification, so we're really happy about this. And we are really happy that we see that our customers appreciate the efforts that we do in the field of sustainability. Then we also have in the right hand corner the electricity poles, so that clients who come shop at our stores, they can charge their electrical vehicle. So that's also something quite recently that we have established these. We have our Better For programs. And better for means better for nature, but also better for our farmers. We have these programs in dairy, in meat, and in vegetables and fruits. And it means that we are really close in touch with our farmers, and we really see together with them how we can improve nature. For example, when they grow certain crops for us, there's always, so there are enough bees and other insects to take care of nature. And we make sure that every farmer that sticks to this program really also follows these regulations that we made. So it's a really step up in sustainability. And then also quite recent, I think only 2 weeks ago, we opened a zero waste shop in one of our supermarkets, a huge supermarket in Rotterdam, so that people can take their own packaging and fill it with some basic foods at the store. So in these zero waste shops, you will find products like rice, pasta, cereals, and even tea and coffee, so that you can fill up your own packaging. And we will roll that out to more shops in the near future. Well, then I will take you through the efforts that we undertake in the area of health. And I'm going to tell you this in 3 steps. That is, we inspire our customers, we inform them, and we have a relevant offer for them. And to start with, how do we inspire our customers and associates to make more healthy choices, is that we have a magazine. It's called Better Eating, and it's next to the Allerhande magazine that I showed you before. And this magazine is all about more healthy eating, more sustainable eating. It shows you recipes, but also information about foods, what to eat, what not to eat, how is our food grown, how is it produced. So it's a really an elaborate magazine. Then we have recently relaunched our Food First Lifestyle Coach app, which is free for all our customers. And this in this app, you will find information on a healthy lifestyle. And that's not only on nutrition, but it's also on healthy sleeping, more relaxing, more exercise. And this is really targeted towards behavioral change. So the way it works is that when you have the app on your phone, there's a challenge that you can choose. For example, I want to eat more fruits and vegetables, or I want to walk 10,000 steps a day, or I want to sleep better. And then one of our lifestyle coach to that new lifestyle. So they will give you tips, but also do exercises with you to get you to the next step. So it's a really nice app that has been downloaded already quite a few times by our customers. Well, I've talked to you before about affordability and it being more and more important that healthy food is not expensive food. So we have launched a campaign twice in the last year called Healthy Cooking for Less than €2, in which we show in the stores that it has not to be expensive to make a healthy meal. Then we have a lot of healthy recipes online, but also you can find recipe cards in our stores. And like I said before, we have 3 million app users. And recently we have also launched a cooking feature in the app called What Are We Eating Today? Because we know from research with our customers that that is by far the most asked question. Well, at least in my household it is, because that's the question I get every day. Mom, what are we eating? And I use this feature a lot also because on average we have like 8 recipes in our minds, but it's nice to cook something else as well. And then a few times a year we have a health campaign. We just had a big health campaign in January, which is, of course, a moment in the year after all the holidays that people are more interested in healthy cooking and healthy grocery shopping. It's called Feel Comfortable in Your Own Skin. And that was this year based around, for example, the Food First Lifestyle app. Well, next to inspiring our customers and associates, we also like to inform them about living a healthy lifestyle. And when we're talking about healthy in Albert Heijn, we're talking about it's in accordance with the Dutch National Dietary Guidelines, also known as the Wheel of Five. So it's explained what is the Wheel of Five. It contains different parts saying that you need to eat enough fruits and vegetables, of course, enough sources of fiber, enough sources of protein, actually quite similar to other national dietary guidelines. What we also read, so you can see here that there is a scoring system. So people know if there's a lot of fiber, for example, in the whole grain bread, or there is hardly any fiber at all in the white bread. Well, then recently we also launched Nutri-Score. I will go more into detail later because we have quite some nice learnings to share with you about that. We also have healthy tips. We put them in the store. So for example, it says if you only have 12 of these small tomatoes, you already have half of your vegetables eaten for the day. And we've used that in promotion material, but also, like I said, in the store or in the app. And just today, we launched our sustainability report of 2021. So here you see the picture of 2020, but just today we launched the one of 2021. And what we also do for the first time is that we organize a Better Eating Festival for our customers. It's due next week. So really looking forward to that as well, where we introduce our customers to the 3 pillars I mentioned before. So a pillar about health, a pillar about connection, and a pillar about sustainability. Well, apart from inspiring and informing our customers, we also like to offer them a wide range of healthy products. What we continuously do is improve our products, and that is, with that I mean reformulation. So taking out sugar, salt, and saturated fats. Next to that, we have a lot of healthy innovations. What we see is that people spend less and less time on cooking, so we really want to make it very easy for them, especially to cook with enough vegetables. So for example, we have soups and meal boxes that are quite easily, everything is in there. You only have to add your protein source, being it animal-based or plant-based. And what we also see is that people are looking for products with less carbs, which we also see as an extra opportunity to eat more vegetables. So you can think of rice made of cauliflower. So really ways to make it easier for our customers. Then we also have a large selection of whole grain products. You see here pasta, oatmeal, bread, and then also tips in the shop that tell you that it's important to eat fibers, because apart from not eating enough vegetables and fruits, also in the Netherlands, people do not eat enough fiber. And to be honest, it's quite a challenge to get people to eat the whole grain products, because people mostly also don't like the products so much. So there we really have also a flavor challenge, but we see nowadays that people eat more whole grain products than before. Especially you see that products like oatmeal are coming up again. So that's a really good development. I am, like I said, head of the lead of the health team, but there is also a sustainability team, and we have some joint efforts. So that's why I put in a sheet saying we're healthy and sustainable meat. And Albert Heijn recently announced the effort to really help in the protein transition from animal-based proteins to plant-based proteins. And we have quite a big range of products that fit in a plant-based diet. And the health team really makes big efforts to make these products also healthy products, but still very tasty. And we see a really good development. Nutri-Score helps in this case, but these products really are getting more and more healthy, but still have a very good taste. So this is a really good effort. So Albert Heijn committed to helping the customers on the way to get 60% of their proteins from plant-based alternatives. And like I said, we had a wide product range of more than 1,000 vegetarian or vegan products. And an important thing, like I said before, is that these products are also affordable. We have an everyday low price system. They are called prijsfavorieten, price favorites, and more and more of these everyday low price alternatives are vegetarian or vegan. So that's really nice to see. Then we see also an increase in the interest for fair trade products. So we have a loyalty system where customers can get a 10% discount for organic products. And of course, I will tell you something more about Nutri-Score, which is a health labeling system. But we also see that other retailers, for example, Lidl just started experimenting with the Eco-Score, the food environmental labeling. And that's something that we also keep an eye on, if that is something that in the future we also would like to do. Well, then I'm taking you into the case of Nutri-Score. I've told you about all the efforts that we make in the area of helping the customer make a more healthy choice. So Nutri-Score is just one of the elements next to inspiration, information, and a relevant offer in the store. And the Netherlands chose Nutri-Score as their front of pack logo already in 2019. So that's already a few years ago. And I would like to tell you what Albert Heijn's experiences are with Nutri-Score. We have a history of logos in the Netherlands. You see here the four-leaved clover, which was a logo that was put in place by Albert Heijn, and that helped the consumer to make a choice that was within the dietary guidelines. Later on, there was a wider range of companies that wanted to back up such a logo, and then we chose for the check, which is part of the International Choices program. There were two checks. There was a green check, which really was for the healthy choice, so the choice that fits within the dietary guidelines. And there was a blue check, which was more meant if you are in front of the shelf. The product with the blue check is a better choice than other products in the shelf. Already in 2016, it was said that this was too confusing for the customer, and there was no longer a front of pack logo in the Netherlands anymore. We have the Wheel of Five, and I think people know more or less what's in there, in the sense that they eat enough fruits and vegetables, enough fiber, good sources of protein. But we still saw that people want help on a product level. So we launched a nutritional value dashboard, which meant that when you did your groceries, you could get an overview of what's in your groceries in the sense of how much sugar, salt, and saturated fat is in there. And then you could also see, okay, what are the products that most contribute to my salt intake, for example, and there would be alternatives offered with less salt. So that was a really nice idea, but it was not very much used by our customers. What we also did was that we changed the food labeling. It's not obligatory in the Netherlands to put added sugar or added salt on the label, but we did so to inform our customers. And we had a sugar scoring card in the shops that with some categories where we knew that people would find it challenging to make a better choice, to help them with coloring. So the most red color is high in sugar and the orange color is low in sugar. And that would help people on the shelf label to make a better choice. And the categories that customers were most interested in were sodas and juices, breakfast cereals, bread replacers like crackers, and dairy. Well, apart from the labeling where we still mention added sugar and salt, all these logos or other aids are no longer in place. And now, as the government has chosen Nutri-Score as the logo for the Netherlands, we started experimenting with Nutri-Score. However, it's not yet officially allowed in the Netherlands to put this on pack, because Nutri-Score is not totally in line with the national dietary guidelines. At this moment, there is a scientific committee working on the algorithm behind Nutri-Score to make it more in line not only with the Dutch guidelines, but also with the guidelines of other participating countries like France, Germany, and Belgium. And for example, what is an issue in there is that some of our white bread score as the whole grain bread, and that may be confusing for the customer. We started experimenting with Nutri-Score a few years ago already, when it was just announced that this would be the front of pack logo in the Netherlands. But what we did now, starting January of this year, is the biggest experiment so far. We have put the Nutri-Score on 5,500 stock keeping units, so products of our own private label. We've put them on the electronic shelf label. You can see them when you are doing your groceries online, and also in the app they are visible. In addition, as more and more A brands also put the Nutri-Score on pack, you can see that already on 800 products in store, you can see the logo. There are the big companies, of course, that have already adopted the logo, like Alpro, which is part of the known. But what we also see very interesting is that the smaller startup companies that really dive into the more healthy food, like here you see Holy, which is a small Dutch brand, they also adopt the logo already. Apart from putting it on the shelf online and in the app, there's when you do your online shopping or you do it in the app, there's a filtering and sorting option. You see and in the upper picture on the left side, you see that you can select the Nutri-Score. So you can choose, for example, these are plant-based dairy alternatives, to only see the products with an A. And in the picture on the bottom, on the right hand side, you can see that you can also sort Nutri-Score from A to E. And what we see is that quite some people, about 18,000 customers a week, use these filtering or sorting functions. And what is very interesting to see is the product categories where they use these filtering and sorting options. So that's in biscuits, snacks, cheese, cold cuts, breakfast cereals. So it's really in areas where we before also used the sugar scoring card, and where people really have an issue in finding out what is the healthier option, and where they also are not very willing or not capable of, don't take the time to read the entire label. Well, what did our customers say about these? Are quite some products that were labeled with Nutri-Score. We were not having a big communication, a big campaign about Nutri-Score. So it's not that we announced that we were starting with Nutri-Score and how to use it. So it's really, we put it on the label, and there was some information on the website and some information in the magazines, but no big announcements. And about 45% of our customers said they were familiar with Nutri-Score. And from these customers, one out of four said that they were willing to take the logo into account when doing their shopping. So in the end, it's about, I think about 12% of the customers who will really use Nutri-Score while shopping. And I think that is quite comparable to studies, for example, in France and Belgium. Interesting also is that just over half of the customers says it's a good thing that Nutri-Score is there. But we've learned much more. I think when talking about Nutri-Score, it's mostly about how does the customer react? Do they use it? Do they understand it? But a big part of the effect of Nutri-Score is also what is the manufacturing doing with it? Because in the Netherlands, we have some government initiatives to reformulate our products. And what we then normally do is we set maximum norms for sugar, salt, and saturated fat in certain products. And we take this to our manufacturers, but in this case, it's the other way around. It's the manufacturer coming to us and telling us that they want a better Nutri-Score on their packs. So it's a really good incentive for reformulation. And I think that's really underestimated when talking about the effects of Nutri-Score. But we also found interesting things that, as you can imagine, were immediately picked up on social media. Like, for example, vanilla custards that look the same, but have a different score, which has to do with just a different amount of sugar or saturated fat. Also, two types of semi-skimmed milk. So it's the same type of milk, but with a different score. Also, there is just a small change, a small difference in fat in the milk, which results in another Nutri-Score. So that's really things that we find out now and where we learn from. Another thing is in the Netherlands, these small fruit or vegetable shots are quite popular, especially the ginger power one. But as ginger is not considered a vegetable, it gets a D, whereas the other shots get a B. We saw difference in eggs, which had a small difference in nutritional value. And also sometimes it just goes wrong. Here you see an example of linseed, where it's the same product but a different score. So also around scoring, we've learned a lot. Yeah, well, that's what I wanted to share with you today. I hope it's nice to see an example of, in this case, of Nutri-Score, how we really try to help the customer with a conscious choice, but also because it's an incentive for reformulation with an unconscious choice. So that's my story of today. Hoping to hear from you.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Ariane, for sharing that and going into the learnings. And I know the questions will start to come in now as people digest your presentation. Can I ask one first? Could you give us a bit more details on something maybe that worked or didn't work when you're trying to, I see in multiple markets around the world, that balance between health and sustainability? Do you have an example of something maybe that was great for your health and not such great impact on the environment, or yeah, anything around that kind of unintended consequences often that we see in different markets around the world?
Yeah, well, I think that, for example, the challenge of the plant-based products, so the meat alternatives is a good example where you really want to convince the customer to leave meat out of their diet, for example, 1 day a week. But to be able to do that, you need to compete with the meat that they are used to, and you really want to make a very delicious and tasty alternative. And then the next thing is that you hear from the external world that it's too salty, too fat, too whatever. So we really had to find a way how to deal with that. And another example is, for example, healthy checkouts. So there's quite some pressure on healthy checkouts. Especially from NGOs. Experiment where we put small tomatoes, small cucumbers, apples, and other fruits and vegetables next to the checkout. But at the end of the day, when these products were not sold, we had to throw them out, which is of course not good for your waste. So for health, it was a good thing, but for sustainability, it was not. So and that are just a few examples of challenges we find every day.
Great, thank you. So I'm looking here at some of the questions coming in. I think you answered this one already. It was does your app rate nutritious products? And if so, does it incorporate the guiding star system that Ahold Delhaize uses in the US?
Yeah, so in the app that we have, we now use Nutri-Score, as that is the logo that is adapted in the Netherlands. But yes, our brands in the US use the healthy rating star system. What we used to do was the nutritional value dashboard that was also available in the app, but now it's only Nutri-Score that's available in the app. And like I said, we are experimenting with giving people a more healthy alternative in the app. Once they, for example, we see that they always buy the pizza with 4 cheeses and it has an E. There will be a message popping up in the app and saying, did you think about maybe buying this alternative? And it might be a pizza which has a C or a B score. So that's also a feature that we're working on in the app.
Great. And following up from that, you showed examples, very interesting how your customers use and understand Nutri-Score and how this relates to their interest in healthier products. Do you see a trend towards more sustainable products as well?
Yeah, for sure. We see also a trend towards more sustainable products. I think recent research, I don't think it was Dutch, it was maybe European, showing that revenue from retail was already 21% for products with sustainable logo certification. So for sure, we see a lot of interest also in sustainable shopping, apart from healthy shopping. And I think if we look, for example, at customers who choose organic products. It's more from a environmental or animal welfare perspective than they do that from a health perspective.
It's funny, in some of our other CHL markets and experimentations, animal welfare is often the top customer criteria, and often what's not on some of the environmental labels that are coming out. Ariane, can you speak how packaging fits into your health and sustainability strategic pillars? Again, another top concern of shoppers around the world.
Yeah. Well, what we see is that especially our customers, they are very worried about plastics, of course, because that's something that they hear a lot about in the media. So we took out plastic bags. Normally, if you come in the shop, you will put fruits and vegetables in a plastic bag. We have taken these out of the shop and replaced them with a sustainable alternative. What we also do is that we use as much recyclable packaging as we can, but we also reduce packaging we have a target for that, to reduce the amount of packaging that we use. And for example, the zero waste shop that I showed that we just opened is also an example of reducing packaging. So the efforts on packaging are really on top of mind.
And going back to this topic around trade-offs between healthy and sustainable food choices, and are there sweet spots that you've seen, Ariane, and how are you managing to kind of tick the box on both healthy and sustainable food choices?
Well, what we see is that when COVID just started, a lot of people were more interested in local produce, which mostly, not always, but mostly is also a more sustainable option. And that was really a good area where health and sustainability go hand in hand. So we have a lot of produce now, more than before, from local farmers or close by farmers. So that is a nice development. Other sweet spots. Can't think of any right now.
Well, still lots of work to do. So going local and as well, kind of understanding that transparency in your supply chain. And on the last session we had 6 weeks ago, and we talked about kind of regenerative agriculture and that kind of localization and farmer welfare and understanding the supply chain. Definitely more and more interest in it. Ariane, can you tell me a bit more about the app? And kind of, this is definitely an area where at the Consumer Goods Forum as well, we're really looking into digital development, and of course we can test and learn and trial things in a digital environment a lot easier. And what feedback are you getting from customers on your app?
Yeah, so there is the app from Albert Heijn itself, where you really do your grocery shopping and where you find your recipes. But I think with the Food First Lifestyle Coach app, where we also have the opportunity to really make a step up and help you in step-by-step creating a healthier lifestyle, where we also can ask some questions, because of course in the Albert Heijn app we cannot do that, but where we can really find out how can we help you, what are you looking for, and really with the help of experts make a step up. For example, if you're looking for eating more fruits and vegetables, our dietitian helps you with finding ways to increase your vegetable consumption. In the Netherlands, we have a diet where we have breakfast and we have lunch with sandwiches. So dinner is the most important time to get your vegetables. If you need to consume 250 grams of vegetables a day, that's a tough thing to do. So the dietitian can then really help you to have vegetables also at breakfast or at lunch, and really make it a practical day-to-day thing that you can really change into a new habit. So it's really a nice addition. And then when you, of course, the apps are connected. So when you have a recipe in the Food First app and you want to prepare that for that day, you can just click the ingredients and the app will take them to your shopping cart in the app from Albert Heijn. So that's really, it's nice that they are also connected. And we're just at the beginning, so there will be more features available in that lifestyle app.
Brilliant. And then there's another question: if Nutri-Score wasn't aligned with dietary guidelines, what criteria was used to develop it?
Well, the Nutri-Score is originally developed from an algorithm that was developed in the UK. In the UK, there are regulations for publicity with products for children, kids marketing, and to have some criteria of which products allowed marketing and which products did not allow for marketing. And there was an algorithm developed trying to distinguish products by their nutritional value. And from that original algorithm, French scientists made the algorithm as it is now. And I think it's an algorithm that should be under constant evaluation, because things change. I think at that point, the algorithm also doesn't take into account that there are, for example, proteins in your diet from animal-based or plant-based. So there probably will still be things that can be better in the algorithm. On the other hand, as it is now, we have seen that in other countries, it already helps people to make a more conscious and healthy choice. So it's not perfect, but it's already doing its job.
Great, thank you. And probably one of the final questions, we're coming up to time. It's back to packaging again, given that it's such a serious environmental problem and customers are concerned about it. Is there, you did mention this, is there an interest to move into sustainable reusable packaging and more bulk options, given that with your loyal customer base, has this been tested and what did you learn? So you did show something, your zero waste store, yes. And I presume you'll be sharing the learnings from that in due course.
Yeah, so the zero waste store, like I said, it just opened 2 weeks ago. So that's really something that we want to learn from. But for sure, it's not our only effort in the area of packaging. And it's really with new techniques coming up for reusable packaging, but also in how you say, the technique for making new packaging out of old packaging, that will also help us speed up the packaging issue. And it's really really an effort that's for us, but also for the manufacturer and also for the consumer. It's really something that we are all involved into to make it better. And the zero waste shop is just one of the efforts. So it's really a combination of all the efforts that we do in the area of packaging. But I'm sure that my colleague who is responsible for this is willing to share that with you.
Brilliant. And it's always kind of making those connections between packaging, food waste, all of the other environmental kind of coalitions that we have, at CGF as well, and bringing them to the consumer facing and what actually works in terms of changing and shifting those habits long term. It's not easy. And so we've come up to the end of our time, and just as a thank you from Natalia in the chat and a thank you from Paloma, and it is great to see those examples of what you're trying and testing and learning. in this space, and it is very inspiring. I agree, Paloma. So if there are no other final questions, thank you so much for listening live, for all of you listening to the recording. We hope you find it insightful. Of course, I've just popped in there the link to all of the healthier and sustainable diets learning series. They're all on our website. If there's anything you would like to know or any follow-up questions, please do reach out to Ariane or myself, hw@consumergoodsforum.com. And with that, Ariane, a huge thank you for being so open with all of the learnings and insights, and yeah, very inspiring. And we look forward to everything that's coming down the pipeline. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks, everyone. Goodbye.
Bye.